our YouTube channel and press the bell button.
This story is based on imagination, where it is imagined what might happen after death. Due to a person's religion, they often imagine what they have been taught. However, this story tries to explain in a very simple way, what if everything we've been taught is a lie? Rafika's eyes opened on her hospital bed, where she had just been battling between life and death. Well, at least the pain that made me feel like I was going to die is over, Rafika said to herself as she sat up on the bed. Suddenly, she looked around and saw that everyone was crying while looking at her. "Mom, I'm fine. Look, I'm not in pain anymore," Rafika tried to hold her mother's hand and said. But in that ward, no one was listening to Rafika. She screamed loudly, but her cries were not louder than the sobbing of the people who were mourning over her. After trying hard to make herself heard, Rafika stood up and saw her body lying on the hospital bed. She felt a sense of peace, knowing she was no longer alive, and tears rolled down her face. After several failed attempts to make others aware of her presence, Rafika found herself outside the hospital. Maybe someone out here will sense my presence. If I've died, why hasn't anyone come to take me away? I should be in the heavens. How long will I wander here? Rafika kept muttering to herself. Not far from the hospital, she saw a man smiling at her. Oh God, this is a stranger, and I'm not wearing my hijab. Why is he smiling at me like that? Can he sense my presence? Rafika asked herself and walked towards the man. Look, I don't talk to strangers, but can you hear me? Rafika approached the man and asked. Stranger, the man repeated her words and burst out laughing. Rafika stared at him in astonishment. Sit down with me. These are just fleeting thoughts of ours. They'll be gone soon, the man said after finishing his laughter. What do you mean? Won't we go to God? Won't there be any questioning? Won't we receive any reckoning for our good and bad deeds? Rafika asked in disbelief. She was still asking when a young man suddenly appeared in front of them. Assalamu alaikum. The young man greeted them as he arrived. Only Rafika responded, trying unsuccessfully to hide her face from him. Are you two jihadists? The young man asked. No, I'm an atheist, and I don't believe in any God, replied the man sitting next to Rafika. The young man, upon hearing this, looked at Rafika. I come from a Muslim family, and I died in a car accident, Rafika explained to the young man. I'm a Pashtun, and I did jihad. I blew up an entire market filled with Jews. I strapped a bomb to my chest. My body was torn to pieces, the young man said. Hearing this, Rafika turned her face away, showing her disapproval. Come on, you can join us, the man sitting next to Rafika said, irritated. How did you die? And which God are you going to? The young man fearlessly asked again. Do you still think you'll go to some God? Or that someone will come to question you? The man next to Rafika asked the young man. Yes, I did jihad. Jihad. You atheists don't understand how precious jihad is in the eyes of God. You'll see, I'll go to paradise right in front of your eyes, without any questioning, the young man answered confidently. No one is coming here, and we aren't going anywhere either. As long as our brain is active inside our bodies, we're stuck here. Don't you know that after a person dies, some of their organs continue to function for a while? The atheist man explained. What do you mean by that? When I was alive, I fasted, prayed, and wore hijab for God. Was all that meaningless? Won't we be questioned even when we're in the grave? Won't we be resurrected on Judgment Day? Rafika asked, processing what the atheist had said. You prayed and fasted because that's what you were taught in your life. Even after your death, you're still saying the same things. But now, none of that matters. Soon, even our brains will stop functioning. And then, just like when you fall into a deep sleep, just like a phone without a battery, just like a dead animal, you'll be nothing. The atheist explained to Rafika. Who will shut down our brains? Why will it happen? And what will happen after that? The young man turned the atheist's face toward him and asked. It's nature. Everything here, every living thing that has been created, will eventually end. Just like trees, plants, and animals, everything moves from one state to another. Nothing lasts forever. That's why our brains will shut down according to their natural time. And remember, it's nature's law that every living being becomes food for another. That's what will happen to us too. The creatures of the earth will consume us, just like one animal eats another, the atheist clarified. In an instant, Rafika vanished from sight. The young man, who had been listening intently to the atheist, held his head in disbelief. Moments later, the atheist disappeared as well, leaving no trace of the young man either.